Michael, let's start by telling me how do you get into the mind of your character, Brandon?
By spending as much time with them as I can, and spending as much time with the script as I can in the time that I have to prepare it. So I just sort of I read the script a lot, reread. I go through the day, sort of questioning sort of what's similar with me, and Brandon. Where are the comparisons, and where are the differences, and so like I'll write a list of characteristics. This is what Brandon is, all the characteristics lined up, and then I'll look at the characteristics and sort of cross them off according to my own personality. So I'm like, okay, I need to work on this characteristic more. This one I have already, that's okay, and so forth. And then I go sort of through. I'll prepare a biography of the character to really sort of get an idea of the history, where he's coming from. Why certain motivations were born, where they might have sort of been born from. And then back to the script again, reread. And then also with amazing insight into the character was given to me by an actual person himself, somebody who was suffering from exactly the same problem that Brandon's suffering from, sexual addiction, yes, but this problem with sort of intimacy. And allowing oneself to sort of open up emotionally and have some sort of emotional responsibility in a relationship. And then you put it all together, and then sort of, Steve, of course, is a maestro, and he sort of then conducts you on your way to hopefully making some sort of music, out of it all.
From your personal experiences, do you have to draw any of that to play this role?
I think you're always drawing from, well, not always, I mean, some people mightn't. I mean, the only thing that I can sort of, my only measuring stick against any character is myself. So of course I sort of look to myself and look for any experiences that I could relate to or use. They mightn't have anything to do with the actual sort of material that's being sort of filmed, but where am I going to find inspiration for that? And so a lot of the times you do draw from your own past, and then other times you rely on imagination itself. It's a mixture, it's like a pick and mix of all sorts of different things,
What would you say is the misconception that most people have about sex addicts?
I think probably the fact that it's not officially accepted as an addiction. I find it kind of strange. And I think maybe it's because we, all of us perhaps have some sort of an unusual relationship with our own sexual nature still, and are not perhaps totally comfortable with it. And so we don't like to investigate it as much as we'll investigate alcohol addiction or drug addiction. I'm not sure why, but that seems to be the case.
This is probably one of your most boldest roles that you've undertaken. Is this an intentional choice of yours?
Yeah, I'm trying to be faster, stronger, harder, bolder. No, it's not, you're looking for characters that have conflict, That's what one's always trying to find, because conflict is drama. And, it's not, to sort of, sometimes, yes, you can be dealing with the mundane, but it can be extraordinary. But you're looking for conflict, because that will, that I think poses an awful lot of questions for the character himself and then the audience watching him. So if the conflict is with somebody else, great. If the conflict is within the character or himself or herself as well, even better. I just thought that this was something that was very relevant, this story. And I thought it deserved investigation. I think it's very relevant to here and now in the world that we live in now.
How do you actually approach the sex scenes, the nudity in this movie?
With great vigor. How do you approach them? I just have to tell the story, you know what I mean? You have to sort of be, just sort of get over whatever personal inhibitions you might be carrying, and just sort of get on with the job at hand. You have to make sure that the people that you're doing the scenes with also, unless you're sort of doing your own thing, which Brandon's also doing, the sort of masturbation scenes are there to be dealt with. But, if you've got a partner in the scene, then you have to try and make sure to the best of your ability that the other person is comfortable, and that the other person doesn't feel like you're taking advantage of the situation, and that you can really sort of go to an honest place as well. You know, so many times you see sex in films and you know, the women are wearing a bra or the sort of covers are sort of pulled up over a certain area. It's like, no, if we're going to do this, let's just do it. And I don't care where the camera's going to be and what you're going to see. I just have to be involved in the scene. And because in each of these sort of sex scenes, there is a revelation in there of the character and his state of mind, his psyche, some sort of an insight into this condition. So it's not about sort of titillation or exploitation of sex. It's about an investigation of a character.